Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, The Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
And do you have a heart on your chest?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's perfect, because I wanted to talk a little bit about love today, since we're in the, love you season, love you month or whatever, February. So I wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess, the connection between romantic love and self-love. And I was thinking about when I was in the 10th grade, because like my whole high school year, I have a photo album for every year. And every year I would just make a photo album and put like pictures of stuff that happened through the year, little collectibles. I would write like a summary of the, of the whole year. I would put like quotes and just everything. Like, I'm gonna have to bring those photo albums. But when I was in the 10th grade, one of the quotes that I had written across that I had seen somewhere, and I put it in my book, it said, "It's not so important to find the right person as it is to be the right person." Mm-hmm. And I can see the picture now of myself that I had, and I was looking all confident and stuff in the picture. And so back then, I think I took that to mean you don't have to worry about finding nobody. You can just be the right person, right? And then you good. But of course now I take it totally different. And the way I take it now versus how I would think some other people may take it, I think is totally different. So anyway, I wanted to kind of delve into that, and I guess to see, how do y'all take the sentence, "It's not so important to find the right person as it is to be the right person"?
You asking how we feel like the masses would take it?
You can answer that. Yeah, that's fine.
I feel like they would take it as like kind of worry about yourself and getting yourself straight, and the right person to come.
Yeah, I think that's how the mass. I think that's how I used to think of. That's how I would have thought about it in a past life. I would have thought.
That's life.
Yeah. Because every day we create a new. So past life. Okay. Ooh, on the spot. But like in a past life, I would have thought like, honestly, in the past life, I would have felt like, just be the best me, because I'm the catch. So when I'm feeling like the best me, whoever will come around me, it's a privilege to get to date me. It's how I would have taken that in the past. But like now, I guess I'm kind of like internalizing, like, you create what you want. So if I just continue to vibrate and feel self-love, then all the people around me will radiate love. And I guess, I don't know, I never really think much about the romantic part, but I feel like if I'm all for you is feeling like love, then that romantic love also come into my life as well.
I piggyback on everything you guys have said. It's pretty much how I see it. It's just basically everything that I want from somebody else. Like, I look at it like, am I that myself? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Am I a loving person? Do I love myself? And so just little things like that. That's how I see it.
Mm-hmm. And I don't see that as a little thing, but I'm gonna stop before I go further with that. Is I think particularly women, I don't know about men, but particularly women, I think women will say that they are the right person. Like, I've been the right person. I've been doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm there for him when he wants to talk. I listen. Maybe I cook him meals. Right. Maybe I've had his babies. I'm taking care of his children. I'm working every day. I'm paying the bills, et cetera, et cetera. Yet I still keep ending up with this foolishness. Right. So I think some people would take that same sentence to mean I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm still ending up with not what I want.
Say the line again.
It's not so important to find the right person as it is to be the right person.
Right. So I feel like a lot of times it's like, especially in a romantic relationship, we looking at all these things. I feel like we looking at how we feeling, and we like, you are the one that's doing it. Like, you are the one that's got me feeling this way. And I feel like a lot of times in a romantic relationship, we are pointing at our partner like, hey, these are the things you're not doing right, and this is why I'm feeling this way. I'm good. Like, we'll be like, I'm good. I'm doing this and that, you know. I bring this to the table, like you said, you do this, this and that, you know. And I feel like what we feeling is, like, I feel like a romantic relationship is like a mirror. So I feel like those things we feeling that we may be pointing at our partner doing wrong is how we feeling about ourselves. And so a lot of times with that line, I think it can be misconstrued as missing the self-love portion of it, or because it's like I'm looking at, like, the outside of me is not right, and so therefore I'm dealing with this. Is how I feel like people taking it.
I noticed, like, I've seen a lot of relationships, and including myself, people would see somebody, they're attracted to somebody that they really, really like, and they will try to fix them, you know what I'm saying? Let's just say, you know, they are already broken, so they would try to fix somebody who is broken because they see so much potential in them. And I realized that sometimes, like, when you're trying to fix somebody who you perceive, like, who's broken already, and you're trying to get them to a certain, I guess, I don't know, you want to say a certain level of how you see them being, it's almost like what you said, Ron. We all are a reflection. Our partner is a reflection of us. So basically, I have something in me that's broken, and yet I'm trying to fix somebody else, you know. So
You need to be fixing yourself.
yeah, I need to be fixing myself the whole time, you know. And so I think something that will really help other people, just in romantic relationships, is just one, of course, making sure that you're everything that you want, you know, within a partner, but also too making sure that you're whole already, because the worst thing you can do is, I think, go out here and try to fix somebody, you know what I'm saying? Because you shouldn't have to fix nobody anyway. You know, and I see a lot of that now, just in relationships, a lot of people trying to fix somebody.
Piggyback off you, I feel like a lot of times people are coming into romantic relationships with their glass like half full, and they like, you know, you pour the rest and fill the cup up. Well, really, you should go into it with your cup full of, and the key is getting your cup full with that self-love, and hey, I love me, so no matter what you doing, I'm okay. You know, I think that's how you should go into it, and how I perceive that line now that you're saying.
Yeah, man, that's good. Cause I kind of see it that way too now. It's like, okay, it's not so important to find the right person as it is to be the right person. Now, part of what I hear now is like, because you can find the right person, but if you're not having that self-love, then it's never going to feel like the right person, because there's always going to be a piece of you that, you know, you want to, there's always going to be a piece of you missing, and that piece is like the self-love piece. So it's like, oh, I can have like the perfect partner, you do everything I want, and at the same time I still feel this empty feeling with you, and it has nothing to do with you. It's more so to do like, well, because I didn't give myself the love that I am looking for from you in the beginning. So now I'm looking at you like, all right, I need you to do a little extra because I'm down today. Like, and that's not fair, because that just ain't fair.
I think also too, when you looking at other people to like fill your cup up or make you happy, I feel like you're giving your power away. Cause it's like, what if they don't do that stuff you want them to do? Like then what? You just not gonna be happy ever? You know, so I feel like you give a lot of your power back. I mean, you get a lot of your power back when you love on yourself and you get that deep self-love and you continue progressing with your self-love every day. Because it's like, I can say, hey, you doing all this, you got me feeling this way, but if you like, nah, I ain't doing that, then what I'm gonna do? Just keep arguing with you about, like, you know.
Exactly. I know I had a professor a long time ago, and I remember she saying, do you love them because you need them, or do you need them because you love them? I was like, that is some profound stuff right there.
That's a deep question.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I remember her saying, you know, exactly what you just finished saying, because she was like, you may come across someone, like if you are, a lot of times we're attracted to people because they have the thing that we're missing, right? So, you know, if I'm a person that needs to talk, then I might be attracted to a person who needs to listen. You know, like you kind of are attracted to people because they have the thing that counterbalances you or something like that. Right. And so she's saying, well, that person may literally be wanting to do X, Y, and Z, and they may do it perfectly for 2 years, but then they may be in a funk themselves. Anything can happen where they're no longer able or willing to do that thing anymore, and it may be for a month, it may be for a year, maybe for 5 years. They might be going through this thing. So what you gonna do? You know, so you have to be able to handle that part on your own. It's okay, you know, that they can do it, but if they can't do it, then like you say, then what? You just gonna be unhappy or whatever. And you're gonna search, you know, for that next person to do it. And if you notice, like when people talk about if they have consistent relationships, like relationship number 1, relationship number 2, relationship number 3, they pretty much fall apart for the same reason. They'll be like, why are all men blank? Why are all women such and such? And so when you start listening to your own patterns, you know, like, how come every single man I date, it seems like he got this issue, he got mama issues. Okay, that might be a sign, like, what's going on with you that's causing you to attract this type of person?
You know, I got nieces, and my nieces are like in their 20s. So, you know, I hear all the stories about Tyrone or Jody, you know, what he ain't doing right and so forth. And, you know, I remember I told her one time that she has a particular type of guy that she likes, right? So I said, well, you know, if you think about it, I said, you got a particular type of guy that you like, and those are the guys that you go for. So how long has those relationships lasted? She's like, they don't last. So I said, well, think about that. Stop going for the particular type of guy, you know. So yeah, I think a lot of people sit back and they just in love. And even for myself, I did the same thing. I went for a particular type of woman that I like, and I realized apparently that's not my type, because the relationship never lasted. So it made me open up a little bit to see something different, and I noticed the results are a little bit different. Not in a relationship now, but it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going through or seeing the same cycle as what I was seeing before.
See, I like that too, because if I'm being honest, all right, so it wasn't until, again, I became more like on camera and started like really feeling more of what we were saying and really putting more thought into it. And the idea of self-love, that I would realize that even in past relationships, the only thing I was ever really lacking was the self-love. Like nothing was ever wrong with the relationship, so I could never figure out where it went left, but it was always going left because I was never like fully loving myself. And I also noticed that I had a trend. Man, I just really like to talk. So I used to, because I realized I would date women who like their lifestyle was set up to where they had nothing but time to listen. But then like when the time started to go away, I would grow a little less interested, and now all of a sudden I'm finding things that's wrong. But the reality is it's just like, no, you, in a sense I was using just that availability. So yeah.
Dad tomorrow.
Like, look, you free right now? What you mean you gotta go to work right now? Like, it was better when you weren't working. What is this?
Taking my time.
But it's ideally, it would be cool if you're already whole and full of self-love when you go into a relationship. But a lot of times we're not there. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to go into a relationship not fully loving yourself and all of that, as long as you're not expecting the other person to do it for you. And as long as you're in the process of like, okay, well, let me learn how to love myself. You know, I'm not holding you accountable for me not feeling good about me.
It's funny you said that, because I always ask like, hey, can two people be in a relationship and work on themselves at the same time? Because in my mind it's like that just can't work, because I feel like I used to feel like, all right, if you gonna do that, then when I need you, you ain't gonna be available. Because you trying to get your own stuff together, but I need your attention too. So I'd be like, yes, it ain't gonna work. You know, you trying to figure your stuff out, and me trying to figure my stuff out, and both of us trying to grow to like in a relationship with each other. But that's not true.
Right, and I think it has to be. You have to both be
growing.
Right.
Together.
Like at all times, and you might not be growing at the same rate and in the same direction, right? Like everybody has their own path. And I think you were actually telling us a story earlier about a husband and wife, and he's starting to, you know, veer off, and the wife is kind of like, I'm kind of gonna stay over here in this lane for a little while. Right. And you're like, don't impose on them. Like if you are growing and you're expanding, then do that. Right. And not hold anybody else accountable for your growth or for your being stagnant. And I do remember it was, look, I can probably tell you the year that it was, but it was like around 2000, like, 2000, 2001. I knew it was time for me to grow, right? I could feel it. And so I started telling the people that I was closest to, which was my husband and my best friend, and I was like, listen, I'm about to change, you know, and I'm just like, I love you so much. And no matter what it might look like, because I didn't know what the change was going to look like. I'm like, no matter what it looked like, I just want you to know that I love you. Because I didn't know how it was changing, and I didn't know if they were going to change with me. And so I just, you know, look, I guess I chose wisely my husband and my best friend. Or I guess truthfully, if they're a reflection of me, then of course they would be able to say, okay, do you? You know? Right. And so I changed. You know, my whole belief system changed, the way I view the world changed. And it's really interesting, you know, like I could feel it coming on or whatever. I didn't even know what was going to change. I just knew something was about to change. And it did, and it happened fairly in a rapid fashion. And, you know, they just kind of sat and watched it happen. And I remember my girlfriend saying, why didn't you tell me you were going to change like this? And I was like, I did. I did tell you. But she was like, well, shoot, now I guess I have to too. And so she took it upon herself to, like, she changed in her own way. But it was parallel. Like, we don't have the same belief systems, but our belief systems are very parallel like this. And my husband, like, if you were to ask him, does he believe like I would believe, he'd be like, that's her stuff. However, he kind of resonates with it. Yeah.
But I think that's awesome though, because I hear a lot of people say that relationships can't work if one person thinks a certain way and the other person thinks a certain way. Like, and I think that, you know, it can't possibly work. You know, it just, the biggest thing I've seen is just releasing the judgment. It's like, you know,
Exactly.
That's big.
I love you because I love you. You know what I'm saying? I don't love you because I need you. So, and a lot of people now, I can't say everybody, but I notice people love people for what they can do for them, or, you know, it's like, what are you giving me back in return? You know, and I don't think that's a good way to love somebody, or just loving in general.
And like, if you don't make me happy, if you don't live your life the way I want you to live it,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I done been in relationships, and it's like, you not doing this, and that. And I'm like, I ain't never said I wanted to do this. I never said that. So it's like, but now I understand that they was projecting on me how they was feeling about themselves and what they felt they weren't doing, you know. And so, yeah, I just like, that's the thing I think a lot of people do is, in a relationship, they're pointing at the other person about, when really it's like, how do they feel about themselves? And so, like, loving on yourself is the key, because you ain't gonna look outside of you to feel better or to give you an image of how you supposed to be doing it or whatever.
and a lot of times, and I don't know if this go in the same conversation or not, but a lot of times I hear people say, when a person is acting like that, that's their stuff. That don't have nothing to do with me. What y'all think about that?
Man, okay.
No, he ready to.
Well, it's okay. So look, here's the thing. Like, it's tough because, like, I don't agree with it, but part of me wants to agree with it because I don't want to acknowledge that whatever I'm seeing out of them is also a reflection of me. So it's like, I'd be like, yeah, you know, that's their stuff. That ain't got nothing to do with me, because I don't want to deal with, well, it does have to do with you. Like, this is in your atmosphere. You're vibrating this way as well. And that's why it's showing up. So I disagree with it, but I be agreeing when it's convenient for me.
Yeah, what do you think?
I'm somewhat with Tavon, you know. I think it does have to do with me, you know, like, if I can't sit back and say, you know, tell my partner, yeah, that's her stuff right there, they ain't got nothing to do with me. Well, I'm a reflection of my partner, so it do got something to do with me, you know. So I may not be as vocal or loud as she is with it, but you know, I'm a part of it in some way, some form. So you know,
Some way, somehow.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to really search for it. And I had two experiences. I don't know if I had time to tell both, but one was I was actually helping someone come up with ideas for how to do like a program for children in the inner city, like teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had this, you know, these wonderful ideals. They're terrific ideals. And so I had ran it past someone. No, I really wasn't running it past them. I was asking them if they had more ideas to add. Like, I was asking a totally different person, do you have more ideas? And I was like, so what I come up with so far is da 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 da. So they started telling me, well, the first thing they said is, well, first thing you got to do is think about how much this is going to cost, because X, Y, and Z about the cost.
Right.
And so I was like, well, that would never be my first thought. My first thought is, do I think this would be a great idea? And the money will come or whatever. And so then they went back to, well, this is going to cost this amount, and then this is going to cost this amount, and this is, you know, and I'm just like, you know, first of all, I wasn't asking you for no critique on my stuff. I was asking you, did you have any additional ideas, right? And I'm like, and why are you concerned about money? Are you funding the program? You know what I'm saying? So all this is in my head, right? Like, so I'm like, you know, and so I was like really upset. I was like, why did this upset me so much?
I can see the head moving and
And but I finally realized that because he was obviously coming from a position of lack, which is how our community typically, that's where we come from. It's like, how much do it cost? No, that's too much.
Right.
And even though I wasn't in that moment, in that space, I can go there real quick. And I mean, I know that about myself, which is why I'm like, don't tell me how much nothing costs. I don't want to know how much it costs.
Right.
Do we want this? That's the only question I need to know. So that was really reflecting back to me, okay, you still got that lack mentality going on, you know, whatever. And then another situation happened this past few days. Long story short, I was on this boat and I ended up being stuck with these people for 3 or 4 days. And so it was technically 6 of us on the boat, except Harry wouldn't go for the morning session, so it was just me. And then it was a mother, father, daughter, and then the friend of the mother and father.
Okay.
Really, I think it was the father's friend. But anyway, the daughter hated the mother and the father, and she told us so. They bickered the whole time. The dad and the mom seemed like they didn't like each other. So the dad and the mom bickered.
This is on the boat.
This is on the boat. And we was on the boat for like 7.5 hours a day. A little boat, like about big as this rug, if that big, right? Oh my God. They bickered and they complained. They complained and they complained and they complained and complained. And I'm just like, how am I finding myself on this boat with them? And so I was like, well, I think I'm in this situation to bring love to this boat. So I started imagining a love bubble and stuff. The bubble popped.
It didn't last long.
But they really weren't on my nerves. Like, they were on my nerves for maybe 5 minutes. Like, I was just like, oh my God. But I was able to be in my own space and create, I had my own bubble, but I was unable to, that just kept going all the way till we left. So I'm just like, okay, what is that? Now, I know for sure that I used to be the person that complained about every single thing. I don't think I'm that person anymore. But I might have to ask some people, am I still that person? So, but anyway, I don't know why that was, that's something I'm still thinking about.
Okay. It's funny you said something about lack, because you just answered my question for myself. I had, and I think it might be off topic a little bit, but working with somebody at work, is one of my higher ups above me, right? And every time I'm around them, it's almost like I get defensive when they talk, because they may say something, and when they say something, I'm on the opposite end of what they're saying, because I'm like, well, why not? I'm like, why you can't do it? And now I realize it's like, and they're a good individual, but I realize they coming from a place of lack, and I'm moving away from a place of lack. So it's like you bringing that lack, and I'm just like, what you talking about? Like I can't register with you, like. And so just by you saying that, I'm like, that's it. I said, now I know every time I come in and I'm dealing with you, I know where their energy is, and I understand for myself now. Okay, I got it now. Now I'm not gonna be defensive when I'm talking to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
All right. Any other comments on the romantic self-love connection?
Love yourself and you'll feel the love that others give you. That's all I have.
Don't try to fix nobody.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just the more that you can love on yourself, the more you can practice that. I don't think there's any end to it. I think you can always love yourself more. Like, I know I was at some point, I was like, well, I think I love myself pretty good. So, because I think somebody was saying, like, if you're having injuries, it's like because you're not loving yourself or something they were saying. I'm like, I think I'm loving myself pretty good. And they're like, well, I didn't say you didn't love yourself at all. I'm just saying you can love yourself more. And I'm like, oh, that's true. That's very true. And I do think we can always, there's always more. There's always more of everything. This world is infinite. All right, so thank y'all for joining us. I hope you're having a wonderful February, loving on yourself. That's the self-love is the best love. So we look forward to chatting with you again next week. Until then, this is Arvette.
This is Steve.
Teron.
Right.
Bye, y'all.